Big fists. Having larger hands in MMA provides two distinct advantages. First, the extra mass behind each punch increases knockout power. When you throw a punch, you're creating a kinetic chain that transfers force from your legs, through your hips and torso, and finally into your fist. A heavier fist at the end of that chain means more momentum, and since force equals mass times acceleration, that extra weight delivers significantly more impact energy into your opponent's skull. It's basic physics. The heavier the object moving at speed, the harder it hits. Second, bigger hands create better leverage for grip strength. Longer fingers wrap further around an opponent's wrist, neck, or body, giving you more surface area and a mechanical advantage. This makes it harder for opponents to escape your grip and allows you to control them more effectively in the clinch or during grappling exchanges. Alex Pereira is a perfect example of this advantage in action. His massive hands became legendary during his kickboxing career and followed him into the UFC. When Pereira throws his left hook, those large fists act like hammers, and we've seen the results. Knockout after knockout, including his finishes of Israel Adesanya and Jamal Hill. The extra mass behind each strike makes his already technical striking even more devastating. The grip strength also helped him in wrestling situations. When Pereira grabbed onto someone, his hand size made it incredibly difficult to break free, allowing him to defend takedowns more effectively. Francis Ngannou might be the most extreme case of this advantage in MMA history. His hands are genuinely oversized, and combined with his power, they turn into wrecking balls. When Ngannou knocked out Alistair Overeem with an uppercut or deleted Jairzinho Rozenstruik in 20 seconds, those massive fists were a huge factor. The sheer weight behind his punches made even glancing blows dangerous. Thick neck. A thick muscular neck provides serious defensive advantages in MMA. When you get punched in the head, your skull wants to snap backward or sideways. That whiplash motion is what causes your brain to bounce around inside your skull, leading to knockouts. A thick neck acts like a natural shock absorber, stabilizing your head and reducing that violent snapping motion. The stronger neck muscles resist the rotational force, keeping your head more stable and your brain less rattled. The second advantage comes in grappling. When an opponent tries to break your posture, whether they're pulling you down in their guard or cranking your head in a clinch, a thick neck gives you structural resistance. It's much harder to manipulate someone's head and spine when they have dense muscle supporting it, which means you maintain better position and defend submissions more effectively. Yoel Romero is the poster child for this advantage. His neck is famously massive, looking more like a tree trunk than a human body part. Throughout his UFC career, Romero absorbed huge shots from elite strikers like Robert Whittaker and Paulo Costa. In those fights, he ate clean punches and kicks that would have knocked out most fighters. Long wingspan. A long wingspan, when your arm span exceeds your height, provides multiple advantages across all aspects of MMA. In striking, longer arms mean you can hit opponents from distances where they can't hit you back. You control range, forcing your opponent to close a larger gap while you pick them apart from the outside. In grappling, longer arms wrap further around your opponent's body, making it easier to lock in submissions and secure dominant positions. For takedowns, extended reach allows you to grab opponents from further away and gives you more leverage to drag them to the ground. Alexander Volkanovski used his wingspan brilliantly, despite being one of the shorter fighters at featherweight. His reach allowed him to control distance against taller opponents, keeping them at the end of his punches while staying just outside their range. Tony Ferguson's long, lanky arms made him one of the most dangerous submission artists in lightweight history. His signature move, the Darce choke, was perfectly suited to his body type. Those long arms could wrap around an opponent's neck and shoulder from angles that shorter arm fighters couldn't access. When Ferguson locked in Darce chokes against fighters, his wingspan allowed him to thread his arm deep and squeeze from positions where escape was nearly impossible. Georges St-Pierre used his reach advantage to become one of the greatest takedown artists in MMA history. His long arms gave him the ability to shoot from further out, grabbing opponents' legs before they could sprawl effectively. Once GSP latched onto you, that extended reach meant he could maintain control even as you tried to defend. Long legs. Long legs provide the same fundamental advantages as long arms. More leverage, better distance control, and enhanced submission ability. In striking, longer legs generate more power because they increase the arc and speed of your kicks. The physics is simple. A longer lever moving at the same rotational speed covers more distance, which means higher velocity at the point of impact. For distance management, long legs allow you to keep opponents at bay with low kicks and teeps while staying out of their punching range. In grappling, those extended legs make it easier to lock in submissions like triangles and give you better control from guard positions. Alex Pereira's long legs are a massive part of what makes him such a devastating striker. His low kicks carry exceptional power because of the length and leverage behind them. We saw this throughout his kickboxing career and in the UFC when he chopped down opponents like Adesanya and Jan Blachowicz with brutal leg kicks. Short torso. Your torso is where most of your body mass is concentrated. It contains your organs, rib cage, and the densest muscle groups. When you have a shorter torso in proportion to your limbs, you can fight at a lower weight class than your frame would suggest. This creates a huge advantage. You get the benefits of long arms and legs while competing against smaller opponents. A compact torso paired with extended limbs means you're cutting less weight to make the limit, while still bringing significant size and reach advantages into the cage. This body type, short torso with long limbs, often goes hand in hand, creating fighters who look unnaturally large for their weight class. Alex Pereira is a perfect example of how powerful this advantage can be. Standing 6'4" with a 79-inch wingspan, Pereira fought at middleweight at 185 pounds for some of his UFC career. That's a weight that seems impossible for someone his size. The reason he could make that weight is his proportionally short torso. Most of his height comes from his long legs, not from a long midsection. This allowed him to bring massive length and power advantages against middleweights, who were often 4 to 5 inches shorter with significantly less reach. He looked like a light heavyweight fighting in the middleweight division, and opponents had to deal with his kicks and punches coming from distances they simply couldn't match. Fast twitch muscle fibers. Fast twitch muscle fibers are responsible for explosive, powerful movements. Unlike slow twitch fibers that provide endurance, fast twitch fibers contract quickly and forcefully, allowing for rapid bursts of speed and strength. In MMA, having a higher proportion of fast twitch fibers translates to faster hand speed and more knockout power. Your punches explode with snap and velocity. That explosive quality also means you're generating maximum force in minimal time. Your fist accelerates faster, delivering devastating impact. Some fighters are simply born with more fast twitch dominant muscle composition. Conor McGregor built his entire early career on this physical gift. His left hand was lightning fast and carried fight-ending power, a combination that comes directly from explosive fast twitch muscle activation. Slow twitch muscle fibers. Slow twitch muscle fibers are built for endurance rather than explosive power. They contract more slowly, but can sustain activity for much longer periods without fatiguing. In MMA, a higher proportion of slow twitch fibers means you can maintain your pace deep into fights when others are gassing out. Your cardio stays strong into the championship rounds, your output doesn't drop, and you can keep pressuring opponents who start to fade. This is the exact opposite of fast twitch fibers. You sacrifice some explosive speed and knockout power, but you gain the ability to drown opponents in volume and relentless pace. Like fast twitch dominance, this is largely genetic. Nate Diaz is the perfect example of slow twitch muscle fiber dominance, and his first fight against Conor McGregor illustrated this advantage perfectly. While McGregor came out explosive and fast in the first round, landing heavy shots with his fast twitch power, Diaz weathered the storm and just kept coming. As the fight progressed into the second round, McGregor's gas tank began to empty, and that's the weakness of being fast twitch dominant. Meanwhile, Diaz's pace never slowed. He kept throwing punches, pressuring forward, and his cardio remained strong. By the end of the second round, McGregor was exhausted, and Diaz was still fresh, ultimately finishing the fight with a rear naked choke. Diaz used his slow twitch endurance to exploit McGregor's fast twitch weakness. Bone density. Bone density refers to how much mineral matter is packed into your bones, making them thicker and heavier. Higher bone density provides two key advantages in MMA. First, durability. Denser bones are significantly harder to break and can absorb more impact without fracturing. You can check kicks and throw punches without suffering the skeletal damage that would sideline other fighters. Second, denser bones add mass to your strikes. When you throw a punch or kick, you're swinging heavier bones at your opponent, which means more force on impact. It's the same principle as big fists. More mass equals more power. Alex Pereira's bone density is another huge part of what makes him so devastating. Those heavy bones in his hands and forearms add mass behind every strike. Combined with his technique and size, Pereira's bone density makes his strikes carry a weight that's difficult for opponents to withstand. It's one reason he's been able to knock out elite competition so consistently, from his kickboxing career through his current run in the UFC. Big glutes. The glutes are the largest and most powerful muscle group in your body, and they're critical for generating rotational force. When you throw a punch or kick, power doesn't start in your arms or legs. It starts in your hips. Your glutes drive hip rotation, and that rotational force transfers up through your core and into your strikes. Bigger, stronger glutes mean you can rotate your hips faster and with more power, multiplying the force behind every shot. This is the same principle that makes baseball players develop big glutes. When a hitter swings a bat, they're explosively rotating their hips to generate power. That exact motion of turning your hips over is what happens when you throw a punch in MMA. The stronger your glutes, the more force you can generate through that hip rotation.